confidence. These men would be the drivers in automobile accidents that killed one young woman and crippled another. 5 others would die traveling with these men. At least 7 of these Kennedy men would be for a time drug addicts or self-proclaimed alcoholics, while several others would have not publicly acknowledged problems with alcohol or drugs. 2 of them would be accused of rape, one involving a 14-and-a-half-year-old. Although there were Kennedy men who lived lives without public troubles and pursued causes of immense social goodness, the sad litany includes sons from 5 of the 6 Kennedy families. It is a startling tally, and one that speaks to a complex tale of hidden lives and often untoward conduct leading to tragic consequences. Soon after she left the White House, Jackie purchased a house on N Street in Georgetown. Although she hoped to avoid constant public scrutiny, she and her 2 children were among the capital's leading tourist attractions. Every day, the tour buses wheezed their way down N Street, the tourists with their faces pressed up against the windows, while scores of others stood on the corner, kept back by D.C. police. To avoid onlookers, Secret Service agents would take the family out the back door, through a neighbor's yard, and into cars waiting on Dumbarton Avenue. Jackie attempted to replicate the security and serenity of the White House, and yet the home was full of emotional subterfuge. Jackie pretended that things had not changed, when in fact they would never be the same. She looked away from the darkness and chose to remember the years in the White House as Camelot. In trying to recreate the familiar atmosphere of the White House, Jackie brought in Mike Howard, a Secret Service agent who had been assigned to the First Lady and her children. One night, Howard was working the overnight shift, sitting in a chair in the living room. It was tedious, and he had to will himself to stay alert. A scream punctuated the silence. Howard leapt up the narrow staircase, his pistol raised, and flung open the former First Lady's bedroom door. Mrs. Kennedy was sitting up in bed, her small reading light on. "Ma'am, are you all right?" he asked. "Yes." "Must have been a nightmare." "Yes. I just saw some bad things." Bobby Kennedy saw bad things in the night as well, so much so that he often could not sleep. The deepest part of his grief he tried to hide, but the visible layer was shocking enough to behold. At times, he appeared shriveled up, the life drained out of him, his face an advertisement of his anguish. Bobby found his deepest solace in Jackie, and he often visited her. Howard had seen Bobby making his frequent visits to the Georgetown house. The Secret Service agent knew of the rumors of the relationship between them, but he did not know what to make of them. Jackie and Bobby spent many hours together in the house in Georgetown and in New York. Bobby sought through Jackie to touch his brother once again, to hear his laughter, to feel his life again. Bobby found with Jackie things that he would never find with Ethel. Only Jackie spoke the same expressive language that Bobby spoke, and seemed to understand the nuances of his every gesture. Whatever the specifics of their relationship, it was a mark of how much Bobby missed his brother, and how desperate he was that he could be so unconcerned about the inevitable rumors and gossip. Ethel, meanwhile, was the most loyal and loving of wives, a cheerleader and a comrade in arms. She idealized her husband and considered Bobby's critics to be traitors and fools. In attempting to outrun the shadow of desolation and depression that haunted her husband, she was acting more Kennedy than Bobby. When he had been sick as a boy, and when his big brother Joe had died, his parents had ordered him out of the house to run his sorrow away.